I call this meeting to order at 3:55. Councilor Thornton, would you mind doing an invocation?
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful day and for this wonderful weather. Be with this council as they do their duties and go along their way, and also with the administration, and help us all make the right decisions for our people, and aid and protect and give grace to our people that's overseas, and fighting for the freedom that we enjoy every day. And thank you so much. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Roll call.
Jody Bismarck.
Here.
Chuck Huskin Jr.
Here.
Bill England.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Joe Bird. Julia Coates. Here. Meredith Fraley. Here. Janelle Fulbright. Present. Don Garvin. Frankie Hargis. Present. Hannah Glory Jordan. Present. Lee Keener. Dick Lay. Curtis Snell. David Thornton. David Walkingstick. Kara Callan. We do have a quorum.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. We're down to reports. Mrs. Horn.
Yes, thanks. Good afternoon, Council. You all have in front of you a listing called surplus inventory, and this is the listing of stale items that we have in the warehouse that are available for you to divvy out amongst yourselves, donate to organizations that you all support. So I'll send this to Jody Reese electronically and Gail, and you guys can just communicate how you want that done. And you all have my report, so if there's any questions on that, I'll be happy to take them. Was that me, Madam Chair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
There's been two items that have been brought to my attention recently.
Mm-hmm.
There is on the public bid notice, and I'll pass it around. There's a RFP for printing and mailing of the Promises Made, Promises Kept brochure. Oh, yes, sorry. Here, you have mine.
Okay.
And then there is this website that came up, CherokeePromises.com. And a lot of constituents are very concerned that we're paying for campaign materials now. So help me understand what these are, who's paying for them, how much it costs, and what budget.
Yeah, but it wasn't a campaign year for the chief.
I don't know.
I can answer some of those questions. The brochure, Promises Made, Promises Kept, is an informational piece that is being sent to the Cherokee Nation citizens. It's basically a progression of what has occurred in the last year of the Cherokee Nation government, the successes that the government has obtained. It is not a campaign material. It is an informational piece that is go forth to all individuals. The website, my understanding, is an opportunity for Cherokee citizens to gather or to give their information. Number one, in the most important way, or the most important reason, is to facilitate communication between the government of the Cherokee Nation and its citizens. Obviously, the incentive of the giveaway of the television is to get people to do it. I mean, that's pretty simple. Oftentimes, when you have community meetings, you will have a door prize. This is along those same lines. So the idea is to increase communication between the citizens and its government, and to inform the Cherokee citizens of what has happened in the last year of the Cherokee Nation government.
Madam Chairwoman, so while you're up here, how will that information be used? And I assume we have access to it as well, then, to inform our constituents of what's happening in our districts.
As to databases, that's outside my wheelhouse. I just know that it is information that is being gathered to help the communication of the Cherokee Nation government.
And Lacey, will you get us how much each of these projects cost and what budget it came out of, please? Yes. In writing to the entire council.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
can find that.
Oh, Councilwoman Watts.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Coates.
Thank you. Lacey, you're probably not the person to answer this, but I do want to pursue this just a little bit further because, and I don't know who, I mean, communications, I guess, doesn't report to us at all, so I don't know who would answer these questions. You say you're not, cognizant of databases or what the,
Right,
the protocols are around them or
That's it,
anything
I'm
like
not the
that, but I will just, and so it becomes kind of a mystery as to who to express these concerns to, because what things look like to me in terms of the dissemination of information from this government to the citizens, two things actually going on. The first is we've got a website, CherokeeNation.org, right, which the government directs. We have an e-newsletter, which the government directs. We're going to have this, I guess. I've also heard Chief Baker state at recent at-large community meetings that he's planning on doing monthly video feeds that will go out.
Yeah.
All of these, the multiplicity of sources of information, which are all under the direction of the Cherokee Nation government. Meanwhile, the one source that is independent of the government is having its funding cut. And I was at a recent editorial board meeting of the Cherokee Phoenix, along with Councilor King and Councilor Watts, where Editor Pollard stated that, I think, and he was here, I don't know if he still is, but I think 300 subscriptions approximately had been gathered in the month or so since they'd gone to a subscription basis. And this is a newspaper that I'm understanding went out to close to 100,000 people previously. And so I have to say that when I see something like this, that is basically yet another solicitation by the government to collect people's information, it looks like, and with the TV and everything else, to sort of coerce people into the situation. It looks to me like two things. It looks to me like a possible potential attempt to subvert the Free Press Act by taking greater and greater control of the information that is disseminated while cutting back to the one entity that is not controlled in this fashion. It also looks like a possible or potential subversion of the Privacy Act of the Cherokee Nation, and I am concerned about who this information goes to, because we've got an election campaign coming up next year, and I would really like to know what happens if this information is protected under our law in the same way that Privacy Act information of citizens is protected. I'm not alone, I don't think, in having growing concerns about what really can be very serious inruns around legislations that are in place for the protection of information, who gets it, who it comes from, how it is disseminated, and people's personal information, private information. And when I see something like this, I saw this and I just went, oh my gosh. Because one thing I know that took place in our history is that in 1835, when a treaty was being negotiated by a small group of Cherokee people, without any sanction from the government to do so, that they wanted to go to the Cherokee citizens and see if they could get some sort of sanction from the citizens for this treaty that they were compiling. And the federal government assisted them in this, and the way they assisted them was by withholding the annuity that went to the Cherokee Nation, about $10,000, and saying that it would be paid out per capita to the citizens instead. So But if you were going to pick up your per capita share, you had to come to one of these meetings where the treaty was going to be explained, and they were going to try to get you on board for it. Right? So I used to teach this in the class, and I made fun of it. You know, they were handing out RVs, and they were handing out big TVs, and trying to get everybody in, and it didn't work. And then here we are, handing out TVs to try to get people into to give us information, potentially. Now, I'm going to conspiracy theory places. I certainly recognize that. But I don't think we're living in an era where, you know, this is beyond imagination, that these kinds of things are happening. Not in our government, not in the larger American government, not anywhere. And I just, and I say this to, you know.
Well, let me address part of your concerns. And first, you know, treating this on the same line, the same lines of the treaty showed up. I think it's a stretch to say the best.
I'm trying to make the point of coercion.
Yeah, this is not the Treaty of Neochota.
It is not.
But the fact is that more information, the more avenues that you can to communicate to your citizens, I think, is a good thing. People who come to the Cherokee Nation leave their information on a daily basis, be that in whether they're registering to vote, be that where they're going to registration to become a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, be it that they are applying for needed services. Information is given on a daily basis. This is just another avenue to collect that information. There's no evil empire behind this. It is and I know that some people, would probably take umbrage with that. But the fact is this is the ability to get more information, so we can communicate to our citizens, to let people know what's happening in Cherokee Nation. This is, the publication itself is really no different than where the casino money goes. I mean, this type of information has been disseminated to the Cherokee Nation for the last 20 years.
Well, that's true, but it hasn't always been disseminated referencing last year's campaign.
Well, again, this is not a campaign, and I will say that again.
It does reference a campaign.
Well, it says that these are the goals that we met, that we set out to set for the Cherokee Nation, and these goals have been met. It's not,
that's referencing a campaign.
Well, it is promises that were made and promises that were kept.
These are promises that were made after an election had taken place. That would be a different matter.
And
these are not. These are
and also
previous that were made previous.
Point of order.
Arguing with him, and he's trying to answer the question.
Well, the fact is also that previous administrations had made the point that we're going to go into gaming to increase services. That's a promises made, kept, promises kept. That's why the pamphlets were sent out nationwide. That this is where the casino money goes. It's all politics. We're in a political organization. So I mean, but it is just another avenue in which to say, hey, look, this is what the Cherokee Nation government said they're going to do. This is what we have done.
No, point of order, that's not what the Cherokee Nation government said it was going to do. It said it's what candidate Bill John Baker said he was going to do.
He was principal chief of the Cherokee Nation and
well, he
represents the government of the Cherokee Nation.
Okay, hold on.
I think we're getting this.
Don't talk all over each other, please. Todd, answer the question. Julia, don't talk while he's talking. Todd, allow Todd.
I believe that I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions of Lacey? Thank you, Lacey. Well, okay. Councilman Garvin?
This list of items, how do the people out and visit clothes? How are you going to divide them up? What's the percentage?
Well, when we've had this discussion in the past, when Diane Parker Harold brought this forward, she asked if I would provide a listing of surplus inventory in the warehouse to council so that he can make a determination on how this gets out.
He's talking about the terror law. This is the
So it's up to the council.
It didn't say
Bring that up.
bring it offline.
Make the donation.
Okay. Councilman Keeter?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is from the Cherokee Nation, correct?
Yes.
list? Okay. And also, you can stick around for when you budget items.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Slayton?
Afternoon. Or evening yet. Report on September, that's our fiscal year end, and happy to report that it's the best year that we'd ever had as a company, and I'd like to congratulate all of our employees for a year of hard work and dedication to making it that. And can't say enough good things about them. They're just a great group to work with, and we should all be proud of the efforts they put forth. We have a few things coming up this month that everybody's interested in, I'm sure. It's the Fort Gibson opening in the next couple of weeks, as well as we'll be opening the hotel there, the new hotel addition at Catoosa, mid-December. We're anticipating those 100 rooms coming online before year end, and are looking forward to having them available for the most part by New Year's Eve. It's going to be a really nice feature. We've had a lot of good comments on the new edition of the replacement casino from the Snow Cave-In, the old casino there, and we anticipate this being as good or better than that. That's my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Councilman Thornton?
First thing we want to tell you is we really enjoyed Night Forward. Night Forward over at Blue River Dam.
Good.
Your staff and your employees down there did an excellent job. They helped us in every way, in any way they could help us. And
Right.
we really had a great meeting down there. We had a bunch of people. I've seen 400 to 600 there, but I think there was 7, maybe 8.
Good turnout.
And they really did a great job there. So
Thank you. I'll
I
pass
wanted
that
to
on.
let you know about that. And then the,
We just, may I?
Okay.
The RSP that we did on the,
Yes, sir. We selected Klaus Robinson to do that study for us, and they're also teamed with a company out of Phoenix that if any construction comes out of it, they'll help with the feasibility of that. Klaus Robinson's a gaming company that most of the national financial companies rely on whenever they are looking at funding feasibility study that somebody's presented to them. So they're going to begin with Roland, and as you all know, we need to do something down there. We're looking at what the best fit for that property is, as well as the 40 acres alongside that we bought. So we'll be looking at different options there. Then they'll be looking at Blue Ribbon Down, and we're already working with some people down there on some various options for that facility. And then as the third piece of that is Salisal Creek and what to do down there with that. So that's been slow coming. I appreciate your patience. We had 3 really good companies that came in and gave a presentation on this, and I feel like the best fit for these particular properties was Klaus Robinson. Maybe one of the other ones might come in for something else at a later point in time, but I think we've got the right group on it, and I think that's a 90 to 120 day turnaround.
well, hopefully it'll create some jobs for that area and decrease the unemployment rate that we currently have and put some of our people in.
That's the goal.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
thank you.
Councilman Lund? Did you have a question? Did you raise your, okay. Speaker?
Yes, I didn't catch those dates on the Fort Gibson opening and the
I think it's September 11th or the 4th in Fort Gibson.
How about December?
December, yeah, I'm sorry.
December.
I think it's the 4th or the 11th, and I'll clarify that. We'll send something out to
Do
everybody.
you have any idea when you're going to do the new hotel opening?
No, I don't. But it will be,
Possibly around the day we have the meeting?
well, It might be, if that would be a good day for everybody.
That's towards the middle of December.
Okay.
Give your participation.
Yeah. I think they've looked at that, and I just slipped my mind to verify that, but I'll get it to you.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Garvin.
John, in previous years, the chiefs' pictures, all of former chiefs were in just above the motorcycle area there on Central.
Rotunda? Yes.
I don't think they're there now, according to reports, so can you tell where they've been moved to?
No, but I'll find out. I didn't recognize that they didn't realize they didn't.
You check on that.
All the council pictures were there too. No, I don't know what happened.
All right. We'll get them up. I'm sure they're hung up somewhere. They will be about 5 o'clock, so they'll be somewhere.
Councilman Keener.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Sean, for your report. And there's just a few items to update us on the council on the policy and procedures for the council.
We've got those in process. I just need to sit down and kind of review what we've developed and make sure that it's a good fit for you guys too. We think it's good, but
Okay.
make sure y'all think so.
Okay. And then I'd asked about the J Laundry. I know it's a little over a month to go before we open up the Hard Rock, and it's going to be even more taxing on their facility. But you're confident they're keeping up?
When the feasibility studies were done, that the equipment, everything was sized to handle the load. It was even sized to handle our food and beverage. You know, we've just been bringing those on piece at a time as they got to where they could work the machinery. So we will bring that on as they can. If we need to add a second shift, we'll add a second shift. If we have to add a third shift, we'll do that. And that would all be good things if we need to do. It will handle the volume. Present.
I think that's it.
And also, I think I heard reports that you hired.
He said, you noticed the difference? I said, Sean, I was so picky about a bed.
That's a real good. I applaud you for that. I didn't know how they themselves getting information conveyed to them as far as you have a pre-shift meeting or something like that.
I haven't heard that, but I'll check for you.
Yeah, you mind checking on that?
That is a good thing.
Yeah, real good thing.
From time to time, we've had interpreters that were there to help even some of the customers who were hearing impaired.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Fulbright.
Thank you. I sent you an email commending our general manager, Tanya Ruffin, operations manager, Janet Reynolds, and all the help they gave us to deliver the guns and all the employees, the staff, the BDS crew. And a big thank you to Diane Kelly and her Daywork training program group. They were outstanding. And we had so much help and much bigger crowd than we anticipated. And we just appreciate all the support and extra effort because we know that the facility is closed and has to have a lot to get it cleaned up and everything in shape. So we do appreciate all the hard work, and I want to thank Larry, she sent us down some nice school prizes also.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
Councilwoman Watts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So for the use of Blue Ribbon Sounds, they were charged a fee for the use of the facility. And
I'll have to check on that. 'Cause
did you,
I don't know.
Can you get back with me, please?
Yep.
And then did our businesses or any entity of CMB pay for any part of that Russia trip for the sheep baker? Okay. And then, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had another question.
Email
I'll
it.
email it. Thank you.
All right.
And I guess you followed up on those reports that you opened?
Yes, those are ready to go to you.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Fulbright.
Yes, thank you. Councilor Watts, who are you referring to? They were charged for the use of the facility.
But to be specific, the reason why there's been a policy request is it had been approved for us on an annual meeting that we had for like 6 years at the casino to be comp as it had in the past. We had emails confirming that, but somewhere an unknown council person intervened. There was intervention by the administration, and then we were charged for it through our, which we had the money from the council budget, which I was thankful for. But after the fact, it was changed, and we want to make sure that everybody's being treated the same.
Well, I didn't know what you were referring to, so I'm glad you clarified that for us that are in the dark.
Well, we were still in the dark too. I mean, if we hadn't suddenly got a bill, we wouldn't have known about sudden policy changes and people intervening and all sorts of stuff. Because we shared that it had been approved multiple times as a college. Oh, I know what my question was, Madam Chair. So we gave
Ms. Fulbright has the floor still. Okay, Councilwoman Watts.
Thank you. So I understand the Pocahontas Club received $3,500 for ice sculptures and stuff. So I wondered, is that the report you're going to give?
Yeah, and I think that was as a sponsor for the Will Rogers Parade. I think it was I don't know what number it was, but I think that was what that was for. But that's included in what you've asked for.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I was just going to say, the J Laundry was doing a really good job on y'all's sheets. I was going to give you a little praise, Sean.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Actually, we've had a lot of compliments on that because they're folded and almost feel like they've been starched. And
Did you see what I was talking about? Okay. Councilman England?
John, we can check and see if some of the equipment is defective. They're claiming they're having to quality the equipment to shut a valve off from leaking. And that's hot water. Hot water, you know,
well, that's pretty much all new equipment with the remodel, so I don't know why that would be.
and lead time is actually out there. We're the ribbon cutting, you know.
We'll get it fixed.
Okay. Councilwoman Coates?
Is Fort Gibson planned to be smoke-free?
Yes, I believe it is. Well, no, it won't be smoke-free. There might be a smoke-free zone in it, but we've got the latest and greatest in the technology underneath that blows it up to the ceiling, and it really makes a difference.
And then
We have that
you
at
think
Ramona
there's
too.
also one section that is
There may
entirely-
be. That's a small facility, so
Okay.
don't hold me to that. But I will say our smoke-free facility in Catoosa is really doing well.
These are going to be because of you all. Thank you, Sean. Mrs. Kelly?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm not sure if my report got in there. I understood there was some confusion about whether it got over here, but Kim told me it was sent, so I hope it got over here. Did it, Shelley? I apologize if it didn't get over here on time. We sent a report, I think it was about 2 months ago. It was asked for, and we did get that to you guys. It was a terror status report. I gave it to Gail to make sure she got it out to you guys today. And we have been busy our day training. We prepare for this every year. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we have an influx of people coming in because of the holidays, and a lot of people are without jobs. A lot of times the manufacturing jobs lay off in the winter months, and we've had an influx of people. So if you get calls from some of your constituents, we're doing our very best to try to serve as many as we can during this 3-week interval before Christmas. We upped our life skills classes, and in fact, I'm going to have 3 instructors next week compared to 2 this week, and possibly 4, so that we don't have to turn anybody away. So I just wanted to share that with you. So if you do get calls, let us know. And if they didn't get placed, there could be a reason, and I will share you that reason with you. We are doing specialized training. We're working on some timelines so that we can get people in the pool, and we'll start up some new classes in January in all of our tech schools. And we're working with Two Hawks over in Adair County. Two Hawks is shutting their doors. They have contracts with Swans and I think some of the other businesses. We're going to be meeting with them to see what we can do to assist. There is no services in the county. We're having to go over to Arkansas. And we are also working with a business in Claremore. We've made some referrals for some of the lead positions. We don't know exactly whether they've interviewed them. We don't know where they're at, but we do know that they are looking at the 3 referrals that we did send them. They've assured us of that. So I don't know how many other referrals they got and who else sent referrals. Brenda Fitzgerald and Andy Drizzlewater have been working extensively with CNI on our OJT contract program, and we've closed out our OJT NEG program, which is our RBs. So, do y'all have any questions?
Councilman Watts?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was looking for, I don't think I've received my Taro fees report on how those Taro fees, how much was collected, and how they were spent. I think I asked for about $200.
I think it's on our desk.
Oh, so this is what you got dropped on our desk today?
Yeah. We've been working on this, and I brought it over.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Fulbright?
Yes. I want to thank Ms. Kelly and her group, and we had one of our day work training ladies off salary to volunteer to help serve 700 pieces of cake, and the GED teacher plus some of her students that were just enthused to come out and help, and you guys are doing a great job. We appreciate it.
Thank you. We are, I will have to say, we are getting some good feedback on a lot of our day training participants, and several of them are in line for some of the jobs that are opening up, even inside the tribe as well as with CNB. So some of the caliber that we're getting is some good candidates. They're all tribal members.
Thank you. Mrs. Knight?
Good afternoon. You do have our report. I wanted to update you on, we had the Northeast Oklahoma Regional Summit for the rural 14 counties. At the end of October, we had about 300 community leaders that got to attend various workshops. The vendor fair, of course, I think a lot of you got to come by there. We had 100 booths, 400 people attend the vendor fair. This year we had one-on-one meetings between some of the vendors and the purchasing agents from the different, and for also purchasing agents from Flint Co and Redstone, and we did about 30 of those, and it went really well, so we're hoping to increase that in the coming years. And then we had the Youth Entrepreneur Day yesterday up at Sequoia High School, and it went very well. We had 199 students submit 125 business plans. This is our 4th year for that Youth Entrepreneur Contest, and in the first year we had 12 business plans. 3 years later we have 125, so I think that says a lot about our youth. We had about 12 schools, and they came from about 4 counties, but the winners were very spread out. We had winners from Vian and Roland. Roland had 4 winners, Vian had 3 winners, and then Locust Grove, Marietta, Tahlequah, Stillwell, Keys. So they were really spread out. What we want to do next year is try to expand and have one youth entrepreneur contest in the northern counties, since we can't seem to get them down to Tahlequah, and continue to have the one. And we're also looking at different ways to maybe try to help provide some grant funds, maybe through angel investors or tarot vendors or something, to help some of the top winners actually start their business with grant funds instead of just giving them electronics as a prize. And that's my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I just wanted to say you and Diane done a wonderful job on the tarot banquet.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next to consent items, tarot. I guess everybody's had time to look over them. Any questions?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay. Cemeteries?
I know she just handed out an update. There's several have been added since the packet. There's 5 of them that have been added since the packet copy. I don't know if you want me to go any details on those or.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay. Community assistance? Jody?
Again, there's a new handout she just handed out. A whole list of new ones since your packet copy.
Speaker Jordan?
Yes, I'd like to add one, and this is, I'm requesting the council to consider each one of you giving $100 of your community assistance to the newspaper to help them establish a seed money, the account where if an elder comes forward and cannot afford the $10 subscription, then they'll have an account that will cover that. And myself, Frankie, Curtis, Jody, Chuck, David Thornton, Joe Bird, David Walkenstick, and I believe Janelle, you said you wanted to, and Mr. Garvin, would you be interested in doing that? Giving $100 of your community assistance to the newspaper, so if you have an elder in your area that can't afford, and you see, Dick, I believe you said that you would. Would anybody else? The reason I'm calling your names out is Gail is listening, so she can add you to the list. Lee Keener, Buell. Would anybody else want to?
Are we developing the policy?
They have a developed policy. We will give the money to them. They are developing the account, and it's going to be the elders that cannot afford. Now, to be honest, I don't think anybody's asked yet. But as we see somebody, we might point them in that direction. Okay. Meredith wants to be added. Anybody else? Let's see.
Let me just say one thing.
Yes.
I was at that meeting, and I also asked them not only to consider the elders, but any shut-ins or handicapped that would not be able to get in. So they were going to.
I think they'll probably broaden to include
Yes.
that. Mary?
Councilwoman Coates?
Is this all elders or elders only within the jurisdiction? Because when we were at the board meeting, I think it was specified elders within the jurisdiction, was it not? I believe it was.
Now, it wasn't explained to me that way, but it could be, we could probably get clarification on that. He did tell me at the time that we met that no one had asked yet, but they anticipated there might be some in the future. And just kind of as a little update, I have been encouraging the departments to buy bundles, and right now we have over 10,000 newspapers that are free throughout the 14 counties in racks that have been placed at different department areas. So the reason I think we're not seeing some subscriptions is people are just running by and getting them a free newspaper if they want a hard copy. But I know over 10,000 newspapers so far, I believe, from what he reported to me, are being sold through the bundle system.
I was going to add in your budget packet tonight or today in the act, there's actually a new accounting unit set up for donations that's in our packet right now, and it'll be carryover funds. So if they're not used, it'll actually carry over.
And this would be the seed money to establish that fund. Now, did I get everybody on there that wants to do it? Let me make sure, because Gail is listening, to put that down. Meredith, Lee, Dawn, Janelle, myself, Frankie, Curtis had told us before, Jody, Chuck, Mr. Thornton, Mr. Bird had told us, yourself, David Walkenstick, Dick Lay. Okay. And Buell, I believe, was the other one. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, finish.
That's the only thing I had to add.
Okay, Councilwoman Watts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's not that I'm not opposed to doing it, and I may consider it next time, but
I didn't know anything about it until this meeting, and I think there's a broader look at it, because the way I understand newspaper sales is when we sponsor the racks, we kind of take away from the Cherokee Phoenix, because that doesn't help their ad sales and the value of their ads, because they need an individual subscriber. So I know that these are individual things, but we're kind of contributing to the problem when we sponsor the rack through the departments. So I'm going to reserve my decision until next time, just for the record. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. I was going to say I talked to Brian earlier, and he said by keeping the subscription rate and the amount going out there up, that is what their advertising is based on. So no, what was stated earlier was not so according to Brian. Any other questions on community assistance? Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion that we
Second.
approve.
Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All on to law enforcement requests. Any law enforcement?
There's not been any additions. I was going to tell you that the calculation for the motor vehicle tax has been made now, and it wasn't in this, but it will be going out in the new budget, going out tomorrow to you for next month. The allocation on the law enforcement is going to be a little over $17,000 for each council member.
Okay. They said there was no request. Do I hear a motion? Or is there any request in that? There's no request? Okay. On to roads.
And we have another, the roads money was calculated, but not in this packet. The budgets were not prepared in time to go out and the packet tomorrow, but they will be on next month, and the allocation for each of you on the roads will be $105,708. And there are just a couple on this month.
Okay.
There's been no changes since the packet went out, but there's Slaughterhouse Road from Meredith Fraley, $50,000, and that's on the motor fuel. There was no additions on the motor vehicle tax on roads, and on the bridges, there's Slaughterhouse Road, $25,000 for Councilwoman Fraley, and $15,000 for Councilman Garvin for Bridge number 211.
Do I hear a motion? Motion to approve. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay, there's no old business. On to new business. The first item is discussion and possible action concerning the healthcare master plan expansion. I see Mr. Hembry getting up.
Madam Chairman, the discussion on this matter is basically in its infantile stages. It is we are developing the plans on which to develop options to place for on how to pay for this and how to best finance it and how to do it, how to build these clinics and hospitals in the most expedient fashion. Those plans have not been formulated yet. When they are formulated, it will be going to the CME board, which will be the entity that may possibly fund this or a lot of this endeavor. So at this time, I would state that discussion on this is premature and would ask for it to be tabled until the January meeting.
Councilwoman Watts?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just process-wise, what will it legally be structured like for the government to have a contractual loan agreement with the Golden Goose that leads the government?
Those are exactly the nuances that and the decisions that have to be put forward to the CME board and eventually.
We're essentially going to waive sovereign immunity to ourselves, right?
We will. That's again when we have options to propose to the board. we will do that. We will do that. I can't tell you
And
how it's going to be structured at this point.
And I understand that they're the business entity.
Yes.
But at the same time, they're a business entity that serves the government. So if we could potentially be cannibalizing other opportunities, I know to make a decision, I'm going to have to review the same business case that they're doing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And there's therein lies the rub. That business decision or the business case plan has not been developed yet. So I would ask that give us till
Anticipate January.
knock on wood. If this were wood, I would knock on it. Yeah.
Councilman Lee?
One last question. So we haven't been given, I mean, I know there's been a lot of news around the simple resolution that was passed. We also have no meat in terms of strategy and other than some very vague on the resolution, like number of beds and such. What those actual facilities look like or how it meets our strategic health plan and stuff. I mean, I know I'm behind on one email at least that's on the health strategic plan. But there needs to be much more done for this.
Absolutely, and we're going through the due diligence to actually develop. What are we? The council passed a plan. Okay, we are going about the process of implementing that plan in the best possible way that makes business sense for CMB and also to the benefit of the Cherokee people.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the candor. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Councilman Lee?
Thank you. Jim, or perhaps the treasurer, has the lawsuit money, and I forget what its name.
Contract support account.
Has it come in?
No, it has not.
It's not in our bank, it's not on the way, we don't know where it's going.
Well, what we are doing is that we are communicating with the federal government. We are communicating also with the White House. Action may very well pick up on that because, as you can tell, Washington, D.C. has been preoccupied for the last several months and waiting to find out exactly, who is going to be in control of the House, Senate, and the White House. We now know that, so we now know who we're dealing with. So we will be dealing with those appropriate heads of those agencies to try to speed up that process to get that contract, get that judgment that we have won. No problem. To my knowledge, they have not.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion?
Yeah.
Councilman Hoskins?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I think we should continue this discussion. We should put it down to January. It'd be appropriate. So I'd move the table to our January meeting.
Second. The motion was made to table and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion. I think to amend the agenda. Shelley brought to my attention that we had some discrepancies on our Taro approval. I'd like to amend the agenda to have further discussion of Taro and perhaps amend the report. There was one left off, and there was one on that should have been deleted. Is the information we've been given.
Second.
So we can do that as new business item number 4 at the end.
Okay, we will do that. Okay, Jody. Number
Well,
2. We vote. Can we vote on this? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Okay. It's number 4.
Okay, we've got operating budget mod number 3. We've got, of course, October's a very busy month with grants coming in, so we have multiple grants of $3.3 million. Don't know if you want any more detail on that. I'm sure you want on the or
Just start going down your memo.
okay. The $559,742. We've got the basically 1 and 2 are related. They're breaking out the immersion separate from the charter school, so those are basically a wash with each other. They're just taking money from one and moving it over to the budget. Number 3, emergency assistance program, $18,250. They're expecting additional donations to come in, and they've increased their expenditure authority for that, so that's a zero wash on that one. Number 4, Cherokee publication. Well, actually, 4, 5, and 6 are all related. The publications is split with Gen Fund and IDC, and what they're doing is we've got a new budget for the $2,000 for donations. That is set up in a new budget. When they have a need over in publications, the money will be transferred out of that budget over to the two publications budgets. And they're budgeting $2,000 for the donations, which you guys are giving some of that money, and like I said, that'll carry over. It'll be it will not go away. It'll just be sitting there until it's used. Number 7 is registration. They're requesting additional expenditure authorization of $120,949. This is an IDC budget. There was a detailed description behind the budget in the packet. It's mostly related to the new photo ID system. Number 8 is Public Law 102-477 combined interest. It's just a reconciliation of the carryover and adjusting to more accurate interest rates, which is, as you guys, most of you know, is little as nothing right now. Number 9 is the health land building purchase. It's modification requesting expenditure authorization to move the $3.5 million from the reserve by appropriation to the capital acquisitions account.
We got a question from Councilman Baker.
That $3.5 million is not identified anywhere in the act itself.
It's actually the expenditure authorization is already there. It's just it's reserved, and this is to move it from reserve to an actual account. So it's a zero. The $3.5 million was appropriated in the original act.
But I would say it has to be in the act before we can move.
But it's in the backup to the act. It actually has a zero effect. So,
but it doesn't even. The act itself does not even refer to it in any way.
It doesn't? Doesn't. Would you like to make a comment?
Or does on page
Okay.
7. It does not show it anywhere there either.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a friendly amendment that the act be adjusted accordingly to embrace those dollars.
Motion.
We can work that out between now and full council.
Second.
Okay.
Well, it's been in friendly amendment. I don't know who the mover was.
Oh, we didn't have a motion.
Oh, okay. I
Motion
move to approve with the amendment to be fleshed out by Mr. Reese for full council.
And Tony seconds. Okay. Motion been made and seconded. Mr. Baker, Long?
Right. It's zero. But
But I would still like an explanation of what the $3.5 million is going to be spent.
Mrs. Horn?
Detail.
Yes.
The $3.5 million.
Yes.
What is it going to be spent? Or how's it going to be spent?
Well, the council, as you know, has adopted this plan for health capital expansions. This is the health land and buildings purchase, accounting unit to get this plan started so that we can get moving on it.
But that's still part of the plan that we haven't even approved yet.
You're right.
So I can't support moving $3.5 million for a plan that we haven't even approved.
Well, you have approved a plan. You've approved a plan. You've approved a plan to build X amount of clinics in a hospital. Okay. Part of the process, now what we haven't developed is how to actually pay for that. Now, one thing is that we're going to need property in which to build these clinics. The property that was reserved, of the monies or funds that were reserved to do that, is $3.5 million. So in order to carry on with the plan, if that is still the plan, if you want to build clinics, is that we have to allow this money to take the reserve off so that we can actually effectuate the plan that the council has passed.
Councilwoman Watts?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I understood we endorsed an idea to move forward with a plan through a resolution. So we haven't, again, I think that we talked earlier, that there's no strategic plan.
I don't even know like what the property looks like, how big the property is. I mean, there's other stuff that, I mean,
Well-
I'm concerned.
Well, and that's part of
We're
the
not
administration's duties, okay? What the council does is appropriate the money, gives it to the administrator in which to carry out the plan that the council has endorsed. And so it's, you can't put the cart before the horse. I mean, we have to have the tools in which to effectuate the plan in order to carry it out. And this 3.5 million is
Maybe
part of
what
that.
I guess what I'm talking to is resolution appears for some folks to put the cart before the horse. So we want to act deliberately.
Right.
$3.5 million, even though the overall plan is what 80. It's significant. I mean, we could waste that money here. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it is, but we could because we don't know enough about what's going on.
Well, that's part of the administrative function is to do our due diligence. Okay.
And the purse strings is ours, and we do
Right.
not know if it's being spent appropriately.
And if-
$3.5 million is a lot of money to me. I don't know about anybody else, but it's a lot of
No,
money.
it's, more, yeah, I won't say that. But what the deal is that, yeah, you control the purse strings, okay? Now, and if you do not want this process to go forward, you don't have to appropriate any money, and we just forget about these clinics and these hospitals. Okay, now, if we're going to go about the due diligence of actually getting this done, we have to have the tools to do it. That one of these main tools is this $3.5 million, so we can acquire property in which to build the clinics in the areas that you all have designated.
Attorney General Henry, late Mrs. Horn, do we have an agreement with the Indian Health Service for ongoing, have we compacted with them? Do we have a guarantee of reimbursement? Do we know that we're going to recoup any of these costs? Or, I know Connie and Dr. Grimm and Connie are here. I mean, the last time when we proceeded with clinics, what I remember is we were in negotiations with IHS already to make sure that the Cherokee people were not burdened with what the government promised us.
Yep.
Because this is a lot of money to be taking on, both capital-wise and for operations. I haven't seen any of this. So if we're going to talk about putting the cart before the horse, we're definitely, we can't afford on the Cherokee people's money to build an airplane as we go down the runway, so to speak.
I agree
There
with you.
needs to be more information. There needs to be a comprehensive plan. I'm very alarmed at how we seemingly just think $3.5 million we just throw around, so to speak. So I fully support it, and I voted for that resolution endorsing the idea that this is what we should do. I want to help us reach that, but I don't think this is the manner in which we reach the objective. In a responsible, sustainable fashion.
And we're all about responsible and sustainable fashion. I absolutely agree with you in that regard. That's why we are going through this whole process, and that's why we're going to be, we are in negotiations, with the entity, because we don't want to be holding the complete bag on this deal. But if we want this to go forward, you have to let the administration have the tools to do it. It is completely within the purview of the council. If you don't want us to go forward, don't release this $3.5 million. We'll carry on and developing the plan as best we can, but that's the best I can say. If you want us to do it, you have to give us the opportunity to do it.
Madam Chair, if Connie and Chuck would come forward, Dr. Grimm, because I want to understand what the process is. Can we not, do we have to wait and have land purchased before we negotiate with IHS to understand, to hold the government accountable?
I'm going to defer that specific question because he by far is the expert in that area of IHS. So, Dr. Grimm, if you don't mind taking that question.
As Attorney General Hembry said, one of the things we're doing after this plan was endorsed by the council is we've started to do our due diligence. Part of that has been beginning to look at the size of facilities we want, which were primarily spelled out in the adoption of that plan. We're looking at operational cost assessments right now for those facilities to see what kind of expenses we'll be incurring with those expansions. Part of our plans are to speak with Indian Health Service. I mean, this is a kind of an unprecedented action by a tribe to take on the building of so many facilities. without really the federal government saying they're going to step in and pay for anything at this point. And we think through two processes that we're going to pursue. One of them is the joint venture process. If those kind of funds become available through Indian Health Service, which is how we built Muskogee and Veneta. And then the other option that we'll be pursuing, absent those kind of funds becoming available, will be through the lobbying process with the federal government, both the Indian Health Service and the appropriations committees in both the House and the Senate.
So does it increase or decrease the likelihood that the government will partner with us and help with this cost if we build it and then ask them for the money?
Well, through the joint venture process, we need to ask and then build. Before we would turn dirt on any facility, we can do all the planning up to the point of starting construction. So that is one of the things we're doing right now. We're starting the planning process on these facilities. There's not a 2013 appropriation yet passed by the federal government. We've been talking with people in Washington about what might happen with that appropriation, and now the House and Senate leadership are debating how to move forward with the different bills. We'll be doing the same thing, lobbying for 2014 budget. Once they've finished with 2013, to try to get joint venture funds placed in the Indian Health Service bill. If those things don't occur, that's when we'll be talking with Indian Health Service and the appropriations committees. That can occur anytime after we've begun construction. There was an example in Oklahoma where the Tallahena Hospital, Choctaw Nation, did the same thing. They built and then went to the government and were able to get some additional funds.
Was that for capital or operating
It was
costs?
for operations.
Only for operating
yes,
costs.
they took the responsibility to pay for the structure itself.
So I have a couple more questions. I don't know which of you can answer or both, but so the resolution that we endorsed, or the endorsement through the resolution, on paper looked great, but I have no idea if the data behind it serves our population. Do we have data that shows that is adequate, or should we go bigger, or do we need to go smaller, or?
That's exactly what we're studying right now. We're meeting 2 and 3 times a week with different groups, looking at all the operational opportunities. We want to give you guys good information so that you make good decisions based on the financing that we'll need to help us pursue this opportunity.
And one of these pieces of property is in J, I understand. Is that correct?
There's property. We need property in J.
So the scuttlebutt is, through people that are up there in J, is that there's not adequate sewage to that particular property that's being considered. And it's going to be $1.5 million for sewage.
Well, as to any particular contract or contract negotiations, no contract has been completed on any piece of property. And in order to completely minimize any interference with those contracts, I don't believe we ought to be talking about any the specific piece of property or any specifics about any contract negotiations at this time.
Well, I'm very concerned that we are moving so quickly that there are major infrastructure issues that we're not looking at in some of these places that are going to increase the field, and it's going to end up cutting services for our people because we're going to have to spend so much money on the front end. We won't have money to actually put people in there to serve them, right equipment.
Yeah, we share the same concern, and that's why we want to take the time to do a good study and evaluate all the information based on historical data on growth throughout our clinics, where we're growing, how much projections, what's the projected need in each of the clinics, and make good decisions based on that.
When do you anticipate, ballpark, that you would be done with the study part?
Well, we'll have an internal plan, hopefully, as early as next week. That'll be our own, and we want to look outside and have someone look at our work and make sure we've considered everything and not overlooked anything that we should have looked at.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to table this aspect of the budget mod until next month.
Thank you.
There were several of us waiting for
Yes.
comment.
Who's next on here?
I don't think my motion was out of order.
There was a motion that was made that earlier that
I
was,
made a motion to approve to
With that
modify
added
the
in.
language to clarify.
and I think there was a motion made earlier to approve the
We have a
budget.
motion to approve. She's making a motion to table.
But you had a motion
Only
to approve
that
it with that.
aspect, the $3.5 million.
Who's text person?
But she
Can I
needs
put
to,
on my parliamentary?
Yeah,
Yes.
please do.
I missed it. There's been a motion on, there's been a motion to approve the main motion, okay?
With
With a modification.
With the modification, okay? There is a separate, there's a separate identifiable section of that main motion that she wishes to table. So the actual motion would be a motion to divide and discuss that one portion only, and then you could move to table that one portion of it. So it would be a division of the question as to the $3.5 million. If the motion of division passes, then you go into debate on that one section, and then a motion to table would be
So we need
appropriate.
to take a vote on the division.
okay. So you gonna make a motion to divide?
Motion to divide and table only that $3.5 million.
Motion
next
to
month so we
divide.
Get more details.
Motion to divide
Divide.
is what we're going to vote on first.
Yes. Okay. All-
Discussion?
yes.
To divide the question.
Adam's only against
Has it been
this.
seconded?
If-
Keener.
if it's mine.
Councilman Keener seconded it. Oh no, it's you. Trying to ask another
I'm
question.
adamantly against this. This is the next step that we need to take to move our clinic system forward. We have to obtain some land in some of these areas in order that we can move this whole situation forward. It's nice to talk about it, but we're going to talk it to death just like we do everything else on this council. Let's release this money, let them get this land, and let's move the situation forward. I don't want to see it divided.
Councilwoman Fulbright.
I don't want to see it divided either. And I don't think we need to be trying to macromanage how the health directors and the health department is trying to attend to our business. They are doing the studies, the background, and trying to make negotiations, buy property. And as soon as everybody out all over, everywhere knows it, whoever they're trying to negotiate with is going to up the price. We need to give them some leeway to work out their business and not be, and then let them come to us with what they have. And I'm against the division. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Question?
This is on the division.
This is only on the division. All those in favor divide, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Do a roll call. Sean.
Julia Coates,
Yes.
Jody Fishingham,
No.
Meredith Fraley,
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright,
No.
Don Garvin,
Yes.
Frankie Hargis,
No.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
No.
Tanya Floyd Jordan,
No.
Lee Keener,
Yes.
Dick Lay,
Nope.
Curtis Snell, David Thornton,
No.
David Walkenstick, Karen Cowan Watts,
Yes.
Bill England,
Yes.
Jack Baker,
Yes.
Joe Berg. Seven yes and 8 no.
Vision fails. We
We
continue on the motion. Jody, you're back up.
Question when he's done.
Back to the question as far as it being in the act, that's probably my fault. I can add the line, it'll reference, but it'll actually still be it'll be a zero on there.
We're
as
just
far as
lifting the
in act
appropriation.
itself, because it's just moving from one account to the other.
Madam Chairman, thank you. Jody, there's nothing in this budget about the election commission. That's correct. No increase, and we've heard, I think, for some period of time that the election commission needs additional funds. And
It's actually in the budget that came in that'll go out in your packet tomorrow.
so we're going to discuss the election commission in our December ENF
Yes,
meeting. Is that
yes,
correct?
correct.
And Madam Treasurer, I see you nodding your head. So you've been working with the election commission on that budget. Okay.
Is it all?
Madam Chair, the Election Commission has been here in anticipation of addressing their budgetary needs. If if it's been satisfied through discussions with the treasurer, that's fine. But they have stuck around. I wouldn't mind giving them just an opportunity to speak.
Can we go ahead and vote on those?
Yeah, we can vote on that if I could just get privilege to. So let's go ahead and call it.
Go ahead and vote.
Yeah. call it.
Okay. All those in favor of passing the budget, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Roll call.
Bill England,
No, it's to not pass it, right? No.
Jack Baker,
No.
Joe Byrd, Julia Coates,
No.
Jody Fishingham,
Yes.
Meredith Fraley,
No.
Janelle Fulbright,
Yes.
Don Garvin, Frankie Hargis,
Yes.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
Yes.
Tana Gloria Jordan,
Yes.
Lee Keener,
No.
Dick Lay,
Yes.
Curtis Snell, David Thornton,
Yes.
Debbie Walking
Yes.
Stick, Karen Fallon Watts.
No.
Yeah.
8 yes and 7 no.
Okay, it's been passed.
Yeah, Madam Chair, and if I need to make a motion to amend the agenda, I'd be glad to do it. The election commission folks have stuck around for so long, they may want to say their piece
Okay.
on what they anticipate about their budget. With your indulgence, could they speak to that?
Yes.
Does the election commission want to make any brief statement about what we anticipate next month in terms of budget?
We were here because we thought you guys would have questions for us, but we're asking for a big sum of money because we need to pay for our new voter registration software. The voter registration software we have only supports 5 districts. It's kind of old and it was something that we were leasing from AES. We need new software, we need mapping to support the new software, and we have to pay for an election. So we're asking for a big increase in our budget because when we had to submit all that stuff before, we didn't know how much things were going to cost. So that's what we're here for. We figured you guys would have specific questions about it.
And one reason we may not is because it wasn't in our budget modification, but I trust the treasurer and Jody Reese are going to figure out how much it is and how we're going to pay for it, right? All right, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Watts?
So this is, we'll just wait till December though to consider,
Mhm.
right? Okay, thank you.
Going with capital?
Yes, there's one item on the capital mod 1 budget. It's capital project fund for Muskogee Clinic of $1,048,322. This is the carryover balance that's remains in the capital projects fund. And basically, this is like the other one. It was reserved in the original act. Reserved by appropriation, and this would move it out to a line item. So,
Councilwoman Watts?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is also a land purchase for health clinics we don't know a lot about.
I think I'll
No,
let them
as you
speak.
know, the Muskogee Clinic has some structural issues that need to be fixed, and that's what we're trying to do.
Because I'm just
fix
going
them.
based on what happened in tribal council meeting when this was presented to us, so that
Okay.
was.
No,
So
this
this
is, we're not buying any more land with this. We're just fixing the existing structure.
Okay, so the architect or whoever was not held accountable for
Didn't we build it?
It's for
That was pretty much our project. But that is, again, a potential litigation matter that I'm not going to discuss.
Okay, very good. Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. By acclamation, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, it's taken care of now. Number 4 was something that was added. Taro.
Madam Chair, Shelley brought to my attention that Kelly Grant Electric, and we have the certificate here, should have been on our list but was not for approval. And Shelley's also learned from the Terror office, she'll correct me if I'm wrong, by email that Davis Powerline Construction was inadvertently put on our list. And so I'd like to make a motion to add Kelly Grant, or to approve Kelly Grant Electric and to strike Davis Powerline Construction from our list based on the information that Shelley received.
Okay. Okay.
You've been voted on the cemeteries.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? I'll have it. Okay, and that's all. The next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, December 11th. Motion to adjourn.
Aye.
Aye.